Hi, my name's Lana, and this is my Friday night in the female loneliness epidemic. I just finished work and I came to the store to buy what I want to eat for dinner. Now I get to go back to my clean and quiet apartment after a long week.
Your friend's spirit without hurting him. But you need to bring it back to my base immediately, so we can free Hellstream from the demon's control.
I appreciate your help, Miss Proudly. Yet another day I thought
My fancy schmancy grown adult dinner is chicken nuggets and waffle fries.
I'll return to my base and aid you as best I can. Good luck, gentlemen.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tea and Toast with Ghost. Let's roll right into things and pour the tea.
but he and his clan have fallen under the demon's influence. If I can't save him,
Alright everybody. Today, we are talking about the loneliness epidemic that is spreading across the Western world. Now then, here is your most basic idea of it from Google. U.S. Surgeon General says roughly 1 in 2 American adults, health risks, increased mortality rate, cardiovascular disease. Well, if you're not going out and doing stuff, that makes sense. Cognitive decline, and mental health. Well, considering what we know about... Oh, what was it? Oh, yes, that's correct. Oh, wait, no, that's right. That's right about how isolation does things to people in prison. How some people have gone literally insane in, in isolation in prisons. I forget what it's called, but most call it the hole or whatever you want to say here. But, that's the general thing is people are alone enough, they go crazy. We're social animals. We need to interact socially. So, but anyway, what are the driving factors here? Well, COVID plays a really big role here. Yes, COVID does. But we're also need to talk about reliance on technology and how the fact that when COVID happened, we all just moved into the digital space and never came back out. But let's hear a differing opinion, folks, shall we?
As a happily single woman, I do find it hilarious that there's a male loneliness epidemic, but not a female one. That says something about both male and female company.
What? Did you not see the female loneliness epidemic girl talking about her sad single life, lady? Are you dumb? No, seriously. How many failures have you had in your life? I mean, seriously, think about that one for a minute. I mean, even if she denies it, either A, she just doesn't care about other people, or B, she only cares about her little cloister bubble of her own little world. Because even the empirical data says otherwise, folks. And here, let's check it out. Starting off with Pew Research Center. Men, women, and social connections. Roughly, U.S. men and women are equal in being lonely. Now, this is true across the Western world. Let's be clear here. It does kind of matter where you are because in certain Western countries, family connection is better, but still, people are still lonely. Now, why is that? Well, men prefer the best way to say this is group activities. Men are more oriented towards group activities. Women strive for more of that single connection now. This is from the Harvard Graduate School of Education. What is causing our epidemic of loneliness and how we can fix it. Now, this one does go into the wealth gap, and there is a factor here. Yes, there is, because who wants to start a family and be broke? Not many, but there are those who do it. But I digress. COVID is a big factor here. Money is a factor here. And there's also the fact that moving into the digital space is a big factor here. all of these things just basically came together to make a big perfect storm, if you will, here. Now, our loneliness, epidemic, and isolation from the U.S. Surgeon General's Advisory 2023. Basically, this is the Surgeon General's report on the whole loneliness epidemic. And, links for all of these will be down below, just in case anybody's wondering. This covers the same thing. COVID, how men and women differentiate, how families were affected. This is, the same data over and over and over that reiterates the point here. Now, there is some age differences, but we'll cover that here in just a second. Now, finally, this is the mental loneliness and isolation, what the data shows. This is from the University of Men and Boys. This is a university that's predominantly men and boys issues, but even these people still show us that both men and women still have issues. And even these guys bring up there is a class gap plus the education gap. So overall, what does the data generally tell us? 1, COVID was a major factor here. 2, social media or technology, however you want to phrase that, was also another factor. And how we handled it was not great, to say the least. Then from there, thirdly, money. Sadly as it is, money does play a factor here, because does a guy who's maybe making $30,000 a year really want to go out and date? No, he wants to pay his bills. And, frankly, I can understand that. And do some women want to date guys who make a certain amount? Yes, they do, and it's understandable. And I'm not going to make a 6-figure joke here, because this topic is a bit too serious here. And then, of course, there's also education, because there are some men and women who will not date anybody if they don't have at least an associate's or a bachelor's degree. I have heard of this, and frankly, I think it's a shame, but it's what people choose here. Overall, a lot of this is man-made, and I frankly think it's sad that we are doing this to ourselves here, folks.
Hello, it's day 4 of being single, and I broke my 1-day streak of not crying. And I keep telling myself, I am repeating this mantra, I am a strong, independent woman, and I do not need a partner to feel fulfilled, happy, or safe. And I want you to know that you are also a strong, independent person, and you do not need a partner to be fulfilled, happy, or safe, even if your freaking tear ducts don't know it.
Recently, as I was driving down the street, I saw an old man on a bicycle. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and this man his bicycle is his mode of transportation. And I was talking to my boyfriend, and I was like, oh my God, I feel so sorry for him. And my boyfriend was like, never feel sorry for a man. I was like, I feel bad for him. I'm not going to give him a ride, but I feel bad for him. And every day I see old men that have absolutely horrendous lives, that are suffering in their old age because of decisions that they made in their 20s and 30s and 40s. And these men that I'm talking about are like in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then I see old men whose families are rallying around them in their old age, and they don't have a whole lot to worry about. But the ones that strike me the most are these old men that are like living in these dilapidated houses that die, and it takes people a couple of days to find their body, or that's if anybody even claims the body. Or these old men that have absolutely no relationship with their kids, and there's nobody there to even care about them. You think the male loneliness epidemic is bad now with these younger men? It is going to be abysmal. Like, they have not seen bad days. until they are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s and lonely.
Spirits are restless.
Hey TikTok. You know it's crazy because I joke a lot about being single and you know I laugh it off. But I'm 46 years old. And while I'm getting ready for surgery and everything, it dawned on me. Hold on. I'm sorry. It dawned on me that I'm 46 years old and I don't have a husband to take care of me. I don't have a husband to help me get ready. I'm 46 years old and I still need my mama to take care of me post-op. I still need my sister, which whether I had a husband or not, they would be there. It sucks. Being single at 46 sucks. That's it. It just sucks. And I'm fucking tired. And I make jokes about the fucking buffoons that I have been encountering in dating. But in reality, this is my reality. This is my reality. This is my reality, and those stories are the shit that's available, because all the good men have gotten married in their 20s and 30s because they're good men. I'm not blaming it all on men, because women are fucking shit. They fucking batshit crazy too. So, but this is my reality, not anybody else's. Yeah, that's all. 6 years old, and I don't have a husband to take care of.
You know, the saying goes, a smart person learns from his mistake, but a wise person learns from other people's mistakes. I hope there are some young women watching this. Please go back and watch this video. I feel so bad for this woman, but I'm also grateful that she's making this video and she's really being honest and brutal about the reality of life at that age. Because too many of us have bought into lies. And I'm not even talking about the lies of feminism or anything like that. Too many of us have bought into other people's lifestyle and into other people's reality. So many of us are on this app watching women talk down on men, watching women talk down on relationships, because they went through 1 or 2 relationships with men that they chose. And they went into marriage and relationships without knowing the reality of those institutions and without knowing the reality of what life looks like when you get married. Many women are getting into relationships and marriage with their expectations just out of order, and then are now selling young women that marriage is terrible and all men are terrible, and it's just not true. And go and watch this video and just go and hear what this woman is talking about, because that is real life. That is real life. So I hope a young woman in her 20s is watching this, and I hope you course correct, and I hope you take a more positive view of life with men and of your future. Because sure, she has family and sure, she has friends, but guess what? Your friends have a life too. It's a huge commitment to care for somebody after they've had surgery. I've had it with my second child, and I'm grateful to have had a partner to go through that with me. So go watch this video and let's chat in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And please don't be too bitter or too mean. I've seen men are having a field day with this, and it's just whatever. I mean, it is what it is. She made the bed, she's lying in it. At least she's on it.
Lady, if you can sit here and disregard the empirical data, but you can also ignore or disregard the stories from other women, guess what? That's your failure, and you can't even recognize other people's own anecdotal experiences. Now, seeing as that there are some people in denial here, let's actually talk about some of the consequences here for the loneliness epidemic. I'm not sitting here saying, let's... How do I want to put this? I want to put this the right way. Because if I say this wrong, it's not... It could be bad. Well, it is bad, but the point here is, folks, is that what are the end results here? Well, I mean, just as an example here, folks, we could talk about Legion of Men for a minute, where men who are lonely before COVID, because, yeah, there are guys who went to divorce court and they got their butts ripped apart. And at the end, Bo talks about this, when he worked at a bar in college where the regular crowd rolled in, and there were always like 5 or 7 guys who rolled in who were constantly drinking. They never saw their kids. They never got to see their kids. Never this, never that. And they were all just complaining and crying about it. Well, they were definitely complaining, probably not crying about it. And in a couple of those cases, sadly, self-deletions did happen. Why? Because not only were they so alone, there was no support for them either. So let's make something imperatively clear here. Yes, the loneliness epidemic became more of a problem after COVID, but it was still here before. Everyone with me here? It was still here before. We just didn't care about it because it was happening to people we did not care about. Or those who did care about, it had to be personal for there to be any effect. And sadly, we lost who knows how many people. And sadly, that's on us. That is on society for making that mistake. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that for anybody.
30+% of women are single, but it's in the neighborhood of 60% of men. One of the things that I think accelerated it was the lockdowns, right? Especially people that had a lot of anxiety. There was people that went a year plus without being in contact with other people, other than their immediate family members.
Shout out to Mr. Joe Rogan for talking about things here. But let's clarify something here. Not everybody actually did get to see their immediate family. If you lived with them, you did. If not, you didn't. And there were even cases where people were stuck with their exes for well over a year. And, well, sadly, there were some pretty nasty cases that came out from that. So, take that for what you will, folks. But yes, COVID did accelerate things. But the things we have to remember here is that problems exist before they become exacerbated. So, yeah. Is it sad? Yes. Yes, it is sad. So now that we've talked about the consequences, because there are people who will and there are people who will self-harm, or they will just give up on life and just live indoors and then just pass naturally. Now, what can we do to fix this stuff, or any of it? Well, let's see. First things first, we need to get off of the digital spaces. This is non-negotiable here, folks. Cell phones, tablets, computers, gaming, we need to get off. I mean, if you want to game with the boys for a few hours, you get your trash talking in chat, okay, that fits the bill here. But still, go outside. Go to a park. Well, let's see. Let's narrow this a bit more specifically here. If you're a dude, join a biking group. Well, bicycling group, not just biking, but bicycling group. Let's clarify here. Join a bicycling group. Join a mountain climbing group. Join a Dungeons and Dragons group for those of us who enjoy Dungeons and Dragons. Join a social club. Do whatever you can to get out for a guy. Go hang out with your friends. If you're a woman, go hang out with your girlfriends. Go play Mahjong. Go play Uno or whatever you do. Go to a passion party, for Pete's sake. Go to a drinking party. Just go do something besides staying at home. And if you got kids, great. Make more friends who have kids and let them go play at the park. Hopefully it'll work out in the end. But sadly, folks, that's the best you're going to get out of me in this situation. But thank you for watching. Hope you liked. Like, subscribe, bang that bell, and I will see everybody in the next video.